What's going on, everybody? Do not change your computer monitor or your television monitor if you're in the 21st century. That's right, we're back again. We told you it's bowl season, playoff season. We're going to be pulling double, triple headers, even quadruple headers. So get prepared. You're going to see a lot more of this duo and some special guests along the way, some call in. We're going to bring it all to you during this season. But with all that being said, what we're here tonight to celebrate is the first round of 2024 BowlMania. It's BowlMania, Jackson. It's running wild. The BowlMania is running wild on college football starting on Saturday. But I would be remiss if not to ask, how are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing tonight, Austin?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited for BowlMania to start. And just looking forward to the playoffs, getting to talk to you about it, talk to our fans. It's gonna be interesting. But before we do any of that, we must acknowledge Army Navy on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
we must acknowledge this game.
Yep, another historical matchup of the rivalry, and you know it's good when you see the. Hey, what's up, Tim? How you doing tonight? Great show tonight on the USC call-in show.
Mm-hmm. Tim does fabulous work on the USC channel. He is what makes that show go. He is our USC go-to guys. Like, if you need to know anything about USC, Tim's got you covered. So go check him out. While you're at it, leave him a like, comment, subscribe. And did you lose a bet? Who made you watch? No, Tim. Me and Jackson love you. Your content is pretty great. You, USC,
the USC show, Notre Dame show, and the Oregon show.
Exactly. We love all of our people. You, USCJ, you all are our go-to Trojan people. Because be honest, these late nights, I don't get a chance to watch USC as much as I used to. But with you, Tim, I always stay informed. But to Army Navy though, Jackson, what are your thoughts on this game?
I can't believe that it's finally a conference game. That's the thing that shocks me. I remember the day where it used to be an FBS independent game, but now they're both in the American Athletic Conference. That's pretty hard to believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because now, when I heard this was going to be a conference game, I was like, so what do they do if they both are playing for the conference championship one year? What are they going to do with that little pickle?
Oh, they'll just
play twice.
Yeah, play conference title game. Oh, you win the conference. Oh, but you're still playing each other next week.
Heck, that's a heck of a like shock to the system. Be like, oh, you just beat this team, but now you got to go beat them again.
I guess we'll count as a non-conference game.
Yeah, then you got to go win the cup game. I'll say this though. In all seriousness, though, Jackson, we talk about some of the greatest rivalries in sports, right? Bama, Auburn, USC, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, immediately come to mind. Army Navy is a very, very slept on rivalry, in my opinion. Not a lot of people talk about it. But a lot of people are just like this is the game if you served in the academies, this is a game you want to win. Like, I had a couple uncles who served, and they always watch this game. And their army, they served in the army, to clear that up. And they always love to sit and watch this game. And I'll sit and watch with them, and they'll tell stories from their past of what it was like and what this game means to them. Even though they didn't physically play this game, yes, Tim put it perfectly. The other games are rivalries. Army Navy is special, yes. Tim, you wax poetic on that one, yes. That's a better way to put it. Army Naval, yes. Bigger than football. It's special. It's once a year kind of thing, and I look forward to it. To be honest with you, I don't know about you, Jackson, but I look forward to it.
Same.
So, with that in mind, though, Jackson, do you think Army might have a hangover from winning the American? Do you think Navy sneaks one on them?
Ooh, good question. I don't think so. They might beat
You
the
don't think so?
spread, but that's it.
So, so who you going with though, Jackson? I'll let you pick first.
Hmm. I think Army is going to win 24-17.
Okay, okay. I'll go. I think it'll be a low scoring game. I'll go Army 13-10.
There you go.
But now, Jackson, it's time for the appetizers. We'll get the nice 5-course meal, the steak, the baked potato, the mac and cheese, or whatever the fixings are. We'll get that down the road. But right now, we're just getting the buffalo wings. We're getting the celery sticks out of the way, so to speak. And we're just getting the appetizers. Go ahead, good buddy. Go ahead. Don't want to
There we
steal your
go.
thunder. You're the master at this.
I'm pretty curious to see what's going to be happening with South Alabama and Western Michigan. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
one of the best games in the world, but it's something. It's like getting a little bit of celery before you have the big course meal.
Yes.
You wouldn't watch it on any other day, but you got Army Navy, the Heisman between
Mhm.
Travis Hunter or Ashton Genty, and then you get to sit back and
Mhm.
relax, watch a little bit of South Alabama, Western Michigan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. And this is, if I remember it correctly, is this what bowl game is this, Jackson?
The
For
the IS Forest Salute to Veterans Bowl.
Oh wow, they couldn't have planned that any better, even if they tried. Army, Navy, and then you got the Veterans Bowl. Good job, NCAA. Good job. A whole day dedicated to our veterans, which they deserve it. They deserve a whole day. I mean,
Agree.
they do so much for us. We wouldn't
Exactly.
be here without them. But this game here, Jackson, I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched much of either of these teams. I don't know how much have you watched of either of these teams. You watch much?
A little bit here and there, but we know South Alabama's defense is not very good. It's 121st in tackling. And
Oh
Western
yeah,
Michigan's defense is 109th in scoring defense. It's pretty bad.
yeah. They're both pretty bad on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, Jackson, I think we might have a shootout on Saturday. It may be one of them. As far as I know, I don't think there's any opt outs on this game. Is there that we know of as of today?
No, not really any opt outs on South Alabama, Western Michigan that we know of for that
Okay.
matter.
Yeah, most of them will probably play. Trying to think because what you just told me, I that this is gonna be one of them games. I think Jackson, whoever has the ball last, is probably gonna win, in my opinion. I'll go Western Michigan 45-40.
I think I'm gonna go South Alabama 34-31. A Schwab is asking when do the playoffs start? I haven't even looked at that. December 20th on Friday
Mm-hmm.
with Indiana Notre Dame, but we will go to that
Yes.
later on. But the
Mm-hmm.
Frisco Bowl on December 17th between the Memphis Tigers and the West Virginia Mountaineers.
Mm-hmm.
West
This
Virginia
is
doesn't
gonna
have
be.
their head coach. So
Mm-hmm.
well, they did get Rich Rod to return, but he's not going to coach until week 1 of next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jackson, this is a very underrated game on a Tuesday night. I wouldn't sleep on this game. especially Memphis Jackson after the hurting they put on Tulane on Thanksgiving. Memphis has been a quiet 10-2 team. This is going to be a fun one. I would say keep your eyes peeled on this game because, and I believe as far as opt-outs go, I don't think either team really has that many opt-outs either. Correct, Jackson?
As far as I know, not very many, but
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia, I think they're just going to get through this game, honestly.
Yeah, Memphis is hot. They're on a roll. They're playing really good football. And like you said, West Virginia's without their head coach. I mean, they're going to have the most of their team together, as we know at the moment. That could change tomorrow when we wake up. But Memphis has just been too hot. I'm gonna take the Tigers to win this one. I'm I'm sorry, West Virginia fans, but I'm gonna take the Tigers to win this one.
There you go.
34-23 Memphis.
I think that Memphis is going to win 35-24.
So we're both going Tigers. Well, hopefully it's not the Austin and Jackson jinx.
Nah, it won't be.
If West Virginia wins, we'll know why because we both picked Memphis. But
well, we got the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl between James Madison and Western Kentucky. That looks to be pretty wild.
Here's what I want to see, Jackson, out of this. Is Western Kentucky, after getting smacked off the face of this earth, are they gonna come and show up for this game? Are they gonna come and play angry, ticked off, upset? Or are they just gonna have a letdown and be like, oh, we got smacked in the Conference USA Championship game. Why even play? Or are they gonna show up, show some heart, show some pride, and act like they want to be there?
Yeah, I think James Madison can get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a 31-24 victory.
You know what, Jackson? Give me the Hilltoppers to win 28-20. I think they bounce back after getting embarrassed.
There you go. There you go.
This next one, though, I'm looking forward to it.
How UNLV. Barry Odom has officially left the building.
And this is the LA Bowl hosted by Gronk.
Yep.
And Jackson, Cal's quarterback, Mendoza, he's in the transfer portal. He won't be playing this game either. So we've got one team without their starter, and we got Barry Odom who left the building. And this is what you get with bowl season, guys. Transfers, coaches leaving, firings. This is what makes it so hard. So if me and Jackson you miss some games, brother us softly. We try. It's just hard sometimes.
I forget this is ACC versus Mount West. But it's how bad Cal's been.
Well, because Jackson, the Pac-12, they still got 2 years left on their tie-in. But they'll be coming back in 2026. So the tie-in will still be there. It's just like, okay, well. But yeah, to this game, Cal Jackson, they're a team that, at the beginning of the year, they were like a lot of people were like talking about them, like how they were playing really good football, and they took Miami to the brink, almost handed them their first loss. And then of course, they had their ups and their downs, like the Miami game. And then of course the Florida State game, which Jackson we've talked about several different times. And that's why, in your opinion, you still think Cal's not a very good football team. Even though I say College Game Day did go and visit them, and but I digress. And UNLV, Jackson, where do they go after this? Barry Odom's gone. Is
They're getting
UNLV
Dan
gonna?
Mullen.
Oh, are they?
I think so.
I didn't. Okay. You go UNLV. Okay. I was about to ask. Do you think UNLV will still be a contender for the Mountain West?
Seems that way.
Okay. But as for this game, though, I'll let you pick first.
I think I'm going to take a chance and go with UNLV, and they're going to win 28 to. No, it's going to be 24-17.
Jackson, I'm going to take UNLV too. Even though they're without their head coach, Mendoza, he's in the portal, and he's a really good running back. But if they're backup, I just don't trust Cal. I've kind of lost faith in him. Give me UNLV. I think they'll play together. They'll play harder. I'll go 28-24 UNLV.
And then we got the New Orleans Bowl between Sam Houston and Georgia Southern. Casey Keeler is going to be leaving for Temple after this game.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And A-Schwab, isn't Scott Frost the coach again now too? LOL. Yes. We'll get to that later on.
Well, Clay Helton's coaching at Georgia Southern. Scott Frost is back at Central Florida. Rich Rod's back at West Virginia. Oh, Lord. Everybody wants to go back to the good old days.
Are we in 2010 again?
Are we in 2007? Kind of feels like it.
Yeah, honestly, maybe we are, Jackson. Maybe we're living in an alternate dimension. We don't know about it. But as for this game, though, you go ahead, Jackson.
I'm going to take my chance. I'm going to go Sam Houston in a 27-24 victory.
You know what, Jackson? Give me Sam Houston, too. I like what they've done this year. And I think they'll rally around their coach one more time. Get him a bowl win on the way out. I'll go 27-20. Sam Houston.
There you go.
Ooh, this ought to be good.
The Cure Bowl. Good game. The Cure Bowl between Jacksonville State and Ohio.
The MAC champion versus the Conference USA champion. This ought to be fun. I like it. I know a lot of people might not see the brand name to it, but hey, when the playoffs haven't started yet, and like we said, this is just the appetizer. We're just getting started. So I will watch this. I know you will too, Jackson, because we're sickos. Let's be honest. We'll spend our Wednesday night watching this.
It's a Friday night, actually.
Friday night. Okay, well, even worse, Jackson. We'll spend our Friday night watching it then.
Friday at noon, your time. Friday at 11 a.m.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we could be out shopping. Well, I mean, we could be out shopping with our wives, but we're at home watching Ohio Jacksonville State. That's just how dedicated we are.
We love it.
No, but but in all seriousness, though, you know what, Jackson? Give me Jacksonville State. I like the way they played, how they bounced back. Give me them to win 33-30 in a shootout.
I'm gonna go Jacksonville. No, yeah, I'm gonna go with Jacksonville State in a 28-24 victory.
Okay.
We got the
Now this
England
here.
Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl on ESPN2, 2:30 p.m., 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
I want to point this out, Jackson, and I'm going to toot my own horn. But Jackson, what did I tell everyone in the off season about Florida? What
You
was my
said they
claim to
go
fame?
you said they could go 8-4.
And what did everyone tell me? They told me I was nuts. I was crazy. How are they going to survive this schedule? Well, Jackson, with a win in the Gasparilla Bowl, they will be 8-5, and I would be one loss off from that prediction coming true.
Yep.
So,
And Tulane's quarterback Darian Mensah is going to the transfer portal. And that's adding insult to injury after getting smacked around by Memphis on Thanksgiving night and getting smacked by Army in the AAC title game. And it's not helping that they've had coaching rumors of John Sumrall possibly leaving Tulane for something better, but likely he's staying for at least another year or so. And DJ Lagway making that magic for Florida.
Now, let me ask you this, Jackson. Is Graham Mertz, does he have another year of eligibility left?
No, he's gone. DJ Lagway is where they're at.
Okay. Well, because I know Graham Mertz has expressed, how he might want to come back to Florida. And so I didn't know if he had any eligibility left or not. I wasn't quite sure. Or if he's like out of the picture and this is DJ's team all the way, or if it's going to be a competition next year for the starting position.
Well, his college career is done.
Okay. I got you. Okay. But I'll say this, though, Jackson. Go ahead.
No DJ Lagway, no problem.
The Trojan fight says Florida just prolonged the inevitable, in my opinion. What do you think about that, Jackson? Do you agree with him about Billy Napier? Or do you think he could be the guy?
I think DJ Lagway taking over kind of bought Billy Napier some time, really.
Okay.
What's up, A. Schwab?
What's up? So Jackson, let me ask you this. Florida, they're built on SEC titles and winning natties, right? Do you see Billy Napier possibly one day getting Florida back to the SEC championship game? Do you see that in his future at all?
Let's see what another year, a full season with DJ Lagway brings for 2025.
And A. Schwab says, agreed. His job is totally safe for a season, and he is on the upward. I'll be honest with you, Jackson. Like, we've talked about this, but Florida, their schedule, like, how many coaches could have survived their schedule out of the entire 134 teams that there is? Maybe 5? Or is that being too nice?
Not a whole lot of coaches in the SEC would survive the way Napier has. He got lucky.
And here's the thing, too, Jackson. It just goes to show that Florida played hard for him. They wanted to win those games, and here they are. They're 7-5, close to getting to 8-5, and they're playing a Tulane team who has lost 2 in a row and have kind of looked bad at doing it. I've talked myself into it, Jackson, but I'm going to pick Florida. I like where they're heading. I don't like where Tulane's going. They haven't looked too good. They can't stop the run or the pass. Give me the Gators to win their 8th game and thus building momentum for Billy Napier.
There you go.
21 Gators.
I think Florida is going to win 35-17 against Tulane. And I'll give you a little fun fact before we move on to this next game. This used to be an SEC conference game, like way before grandparents were born. See, Tulane was in the SEC from 1932 to 1965. And Florida, throughout that whole time, they played each other 10 times in a 33-year span. Florida had 5 wins, 2 ties, and 3 losses against Tulane when they were both in the SEC.
And see, Jackson, this is why we work so well together. You know all that, and I just bring the I'm just here. I'm just here, Jackson. I'm just here to be your co-star. But Trojan Fight says SEC got some favorable matchups outside of the playoff games. Yeah, come think of it, Jackson. I don't think they really got that bad of a draw this year, if I'm being honest. I know we'll talk about the second half next week, but they kind of got the good end of the stick this time. Normally they give them the crappy end. They give them all like the hard games.
Yep. Then we got the Myrtle Beach Bowl between Coastal Carolina and UTSA, and that looks like it's going to be a wild ride. And UTSA won 5 out of their last 6 games to get bowl eligible. And we see Coastal Carolina's lost 4 out of their last 6 games. But trends don't always matter in the bowl games.
SEC football says, how does one become a Louisville fan? I'm so interested. Do you mind if story time, Jackson?
Go
you
ahead.
mind if I explain it to him?
Go ahead, man.
Okay, so
you deal with so much for a guy like me, man. So we'd love to hear your story, man.
So here's an interesting little factoid about me. Obviously, if any of you are new, obviously I'm a Louisville guy. So I live here in Kentucky, right? And a lot of my family members, they're Kentucky fans, and I was always the odd one out of the family group. And I just remember turning on Louisville UConn back in the day. Just about 8 years old, I remember turning the game on, and I just fell in love with them. And then I remember the year that we ended up playing Syracuse in the Big East title game. And it just made it the game that we played UConn and the game we played against Syracuse in the old Big East days. I remember watching both those games the same year, and I just remember falling in love with the team, and because my parents were always like Big Blue Nation, and I always felt bad for Louisville, like we were the little brother, and I just remember watching those 2 games specifically and being like, this. And I remember after those 2 games, I'm like, Louisville's going to be my team. So organically, it followed me over to football. I for the longest time, I just thought we had a basketball team because when you're young, you don't know much. The UConn game was in basketball, Trojan Fight. Both these games were in basketball. Ball to clear that up. And then when I started watching Louisville football, I'm like, this is a fun team. I'm like, and then the Teddy Two Gloves whole thing when we beat Florida, who we just got done talking about, made me really fall in love with them, with the program altogether. I was like, this is going to be my team through thick and thin. I don't care what happens. And of course, my parents were like, you picked Louisville? Why couldn't you pick something else? And it's just one of those things when Louisville, Kentucky get together and all my family members are dressed in Kentucky blue. I'm the one that shows up in Louisville But I'm okay with it, though. That's kind of the origin of how it happened. It started as basketball, but then I got introduced to football, and it just was a love story from there. So it was kind of organic. Basketball led me to football, and then baseball. Anything Louisville, I love to watch, but especially during basketball and football season, I really enjoy it. And Jackson's known me for a minute, and he can even tell you, I'm a dedicated guy. I'll never leave Louisville, even at their worst.
There you go.
Like, even if Louisville goes 1-11 next year, I'll still love them. I'll still root for them. I'll still come talk to you about them. I won't be very happy, but you love who you love. But that's
Louisville.
how I became a Louisville fan.
A Shrub says Louisville reminds me of Jim Cornette. LOL.
Yes. Jim Cornette. He was synonymous with Louisville because he used to run OVW and all that. And Trojan Fight says, is Trey White still Louisville? He transferred last season, I thought, from USC. No, Trey White's gone. He transferred out of Louisville because, that's what Kenny Payne does to you. And
Yep.
H. Bob says, I do love me some wrestling. But anyway, Jackson, some wrestling. I do too. Like, I grew up on it. But that's a whole nother podcast for another day.
There you go.
I go on 3-hour bracket.
They got the Myrtle Beach Bowl between Coastal Carolina and UTSA. Who we got on that
Matt
one?
Manners. Oh boy. Real quick, Jackson. Share your story.
I was introduced
getting to know us.
His little baby, grandfather was like he was like reading me Sports Illustrated instead of like the books, like as little baby, and he showed me like a lot of these Bama's Greatest Games VHS tapes and the Keith Jackson VHS tapes. So he had like a sporting goods store, unfortunately he passed away when I was like 7 years old. So it was watched a lot of Alabama stuff when I was very little. Watched a lot of the old games, and we watched a lot of the current games. So that's how I got introduced to it from there. And I have a lot of family members that are huge Alabama fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your and mine story, Jackson, are very parallel because we were both young when we found our teams. The thing is, your family was already Bama. I was the outsider of my family, so at least we all find it different ways. And SC Football says, "Sorry, Jackson. I guess for your loss."
My grandfather passed away in 2005. Well, it happened, unfortunately, but
Jackson, he'd be very proud of you right now. And he's looking down on you, I'm sure, very proud of the man you've become.
He'd love to see everybody. He'd love to see all of you in the chat, and he'd love you, Austin. That I do know.
But before we get sappy and start crying, and then people, and then at least we'll get a million views at least. I mean, we'll get something out of it. But we're here. We're tough men. We need to talk football. Reintroduce the bowl game. I don't forgot, Jackson. My bad. Manners.
The Myrtle Beach Bowl, Coastal Carolina or UTSA.
Jackson, what happened to UTSA? They were so good a couple years ago with Jeff Traylor, and then it seems like they've fallen off a cliff. What happened?
Well, they came back all of a sudden, just enough to get bowl eligible. Question is, what happened to Coastal Carolina?
He's like, dang it, Jackson, I ruined the vibe. No, you didn't ruin the vibes. Me and Jackson, you didn't ruin nothing. We're goofballs anyway.
Yeah.
Me and Jackson, we have a fun time anyway, but Manners, go ahead, good buddy. Apologies, Manners.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with UTSA. Me personally, I think they end their season on a high note with a 28-20 victory over Coastal Carolina.
You know what? I'm gonna go UTSA too, Jackson, because since Grayson McCall's left Coastal Carolina, they've kind of been on a downhill slide. I'll go UTSA too. I think they'll find enough. Enough, even though their wide receiver transfer is in the transfer portal, I still think they'll find just enough. I'll go 23-21 Roadrunners.
Here we go. And we got Fresno State and Northern Illinois. And Northern
Well,
Illinois, it's like they let Notre Dame go to their heads. I mean, oh my God. But they got a winning record overall. Conference play, not so much. Fresno State, they haven't been really anything to brag about either, unfortunately. Oh, we
no, they
appreciate it, H. Schwab. We appreciate it. We thank you for tuning in, man.
yes, we thank you, and we always try our best. You know, we're like little
We
kids at
do our
heart.
best.
Yes, we do our best. And SEC
Yeah.
football says Louisville, Washington. That's gonna be a good one. I'll take Louisville. Me and Jackson, we'll get to that soon enough. We don't want to spoil too much. This is only part one. This is like Twilight. This is like Twilight, guys. We're gonna hook in, and then we're gonna make another one so you'll come back. We're like the Twilight, except there's no romance here. Unless you love football, then there's always romance. But go ahead, Jackson. Bad manners. Bad manners.
Well, honestly, who are you going to go with on the famous Idaho Potato Bowl between Fresno State and Northern Illinois?
Honestly, Jackson, Fresno, I would take Fresno. Be completely honest with you, I would. But Mikey Keene has severely underperformed this year, and you know, ever since that Michigan game, you know, we thought, okay, they hung tough with the defending national champs, and then it turned out it was like, then Michigan's kind of, they're kind of, and then Fresno turned out to be not what we thought they'd be. But like you said, Northern Illinois coming off one of the biggest wins in program history, probably that they're ever going to have over a top 5 Notre Dame team. You know what, Jackson? I think they ride the momentum. I think they end off the year on a fantastic note. Give me Northern Illinois to win the Idaho Potato Bowl. Give me them to win 30-24.
I think Fresno State is going to win this one 28-27.
Okay. I mean, you could be right, Jackson. This was a coin flip game for me. I had to think about it. And SEC football says 30 people will be watching. You know what's the sad part? Is me and Jackson will be 2 of them people.
Yep, that's true.
And
a lot of their
SEC
relatives
football, you'll be
watching, and their friends. But here we got our Christmas Eve game, the Hawaii Bowl between South Florida and San Jose State. Now, South Florida, this is not what we expected. Sits and sits this season. Good grief, what happened there? It's like the Bama game went to their heads a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Went to their head a little bit. Honestly, Jackson, I've watched them a couple times this year. I mean, this is a step up for them, obviously. You know, there was a time when South Florida struggled to get 3 wins on their schedule. Now they're at least making bowl games. They're at least looking somewhat competent. But like you said, that Bama game, I think, went to their head just a little much. And then, of course, San Jose State. You know, I watched them earlier this year against Oregon State, and then they gave them a run for their money. I'll let you pick first, though, Jackson. I'm still flipping a coin on this one. Are there
Well,
any opt-outs?
San Jose State has done a fantastic job under first-year head coach Ken Numata Ken Numata Matalolo. How the hell do you say
Mm-hmm.
that name? But he was
You're
great
asking the
at
wrong person.
Navy, and he's doing a similarly great job at San Jose State. But one guy to keep an eye on is Blinkadall finalist Nick Nash. That dude, he's a
Mm-hmm, yes.
baller.
Yes. I've seen the highlights of him. He's good. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, Jackson, if some bigger schools don't come calling and offering him a spot. But you know what, Jackson? Give me San Jose State to win this game. Now that I think about it, now that you bring that up, give me San Jose State. I like what they got. And I think their defense will play tough. And I like their quarterback. I'm going to go San Jose State 26-24.
Well, I'm gonna pull a surprise on you. I think South Florida is gonna win this one 31-28.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what it is. You're trying to make that Bama win look better. Jackson, you're not going to make the playoffs. So you
I
can
knew
forget
that was
that if that's why
coming.
you picked
Shots
them.
fired. Shots fired.
But
Ooh.
this was only part one, though. That we will be back with part two next Monday. This next Monday we'll be back with part two, and then of course we've got our playoff games. But Jackson, while we got the people here, why not let's just go on and get this elephant out of the room. There's a major coaching hire that happened today in Chapel Hill that people are buzzing about. You want to talk about it for a few
Oh, Bill
minutes before we
Belichick
plug our stuff?
becoming the Nets head coach. I mean, what do you think he's gonna do? Win 6 Super Bowls? Oh my god. Nah, but
Let me ask you this, Jackson.
in all seriousness, though, I think it's to make his son the coach in waiting. He's not there to be coaching for 10 years. He's just there for 2 years and that's it. In and out. But what was the question you wanted to ask me?
I was just going to ask Jackson, do you think this was a backwards move for North Carolina as a program? Because Mac
Um,
Mac Brown was a little older, and a lot of people are like, maybe his time has passed him by. And now they hire Bill Belichick, who's a year older, but
that's so
has the
dumb.
NFL experience. Like, what do you think, Jackson? Do you think this is a backwards move for them as a program?
It honestly feels like that, but is North Carolina football basically becoming a retirement home? That's what I want to know.
I mean, honestly, here's my thing,
I
Jackson.
thought Florida
Trojan
was a
fight.
retirement home state, not North Carolina.
I mean, North Carolina could be the new one. I mean, it's lovely there, and Trojan fight says, was North Carolina just sitting on NIL this whole time? Reportedly, they're planning to increase NIL from $4 million to $20 million. They just had it sitting around in the couch cushions. I mean, here's the thing. Bill Belichick, right? Love him, hate him, dislike him, whatever you think of him. He's arguably one of the greatest defensive minds in pro football history. But as we know, Jackson, the college game's different. That's why Nick Saban left. Like, he won't openly say it, but we all kind of know, like, Nick Saban is like a lot of these older heads, so to speak. He likes it the way it used to be, where you could
Yep.
go to a player's house, sit down, have a dinner with the kid, the parent, and just have a nice time and be like, hey, this you want to come to Alabama because you want to play this position and we think you'd fit good in this. And just be like, nowadays you could do that still, and there's still coaches that do that. But now there could be other teams that could be like, oh, I heard Notre Dame's offering, want to recruit you out of high school. Hey, over here in Florida, we can offer you $12 million and a McDonald's sponsorship if you come play for the Gators. Or Alabama could come in and say, we'll offer you a Coke NIL deal, the soda pop, and give you $10 million, and you could be the starting quarterback. So that's why it's kind of one of them. It's just it's interesting. I was surprised too, Jackson, but like maybe he's got the itch, and no NFL team wants to take him anymore. You think that could have been it?
I think he was just super impatient. He just wanted to get back into coaching game very badly. He didn't care where it was. He didn't care if it was freaking Tahiti or if it was Puerto Rico or Brazil. He's like, screw it.
Timbuktu.
Oh yeah, he'll go there. He's not gonna care.
And it's just, and Dave Linsky says it's our don't give a beep move, just draw money to our school.
Yeah. Dave, and he also says Bill Belichick's girlfriend going to recruit for him. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, hell of a pitch.
It's not. I mean, it's not.
I mean, you might as well go all out. I mean, I know that there's going to be some people that like, oh, I don't approve of this. That's bad, but you know, it's going to sell with a lot of high school guys. Like, I mean, they're not going to say it, but it's going to sell. They're gonna be like the wolf seeing Red Hot Riding Hood. They're gonna go.
Oh no!
Yeah, yeah. They're gonna run. They're gonna run. They're gonna run like rabbits to Chapel Hill.
I can't with this. He said, "Recruit her body."
It's like a car wash. It's like the car wash.
What is this? OnlyFans? I'm so sorry. I love this show. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all you gotta do is add a bunch of ladies that are like doing car wash. Be like, hey, we need you to come help us recruit players to Chapel Hill. The moms ain't gonna approve. The players are gonna be like, oh, I want to go there. Yep.
And Esso says they're giving up on who's?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, North Carolina seen what happened with Indiana, and they're like, we want some of that action.
Well, just get Bill Belichick's girlfriend to recruit on hoops. Well, they'll go back to win quick, fast, and hurry, and bring the car wash ladies as well.
Well, Jackson, I'll say this: when people say North Carolina is going to rise to the occasion to be a team in the SEC, I mean, not the SEC, the ACC again. They're going to be contenders again. There's a whole other meaning behind that, because they're definitely going to rise to the occasion, all right, but it may not be winning the ACC title under Bill Belichick. No. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. I mean, in all seriousness, though, to try to get this back on track, though, Jackson, like, what is the ceiling, you think, with Bill Belichick? Like, I mean, what's the ceiling for him? Like, what's the ceiling? Can they win the ACC with him?
No. I don't think Bill Belichick cares about winning the ACC at this point. He's just like, I just want to coach for a couple years, whatever, bam. They'll probably get like 8 wins, 7 wins, whatever. They'll still make bowl games, but that's it.
So Jackson, you're kind of thinking nothing's really going to change other than a different coaching philosophy.
It just feels kind of like Bill Walsh to Stanford at his second stint when he was coaching in the 90s. When, you know, after he retired from the Niners, he was like, you know what? I'm a little tired of just sitting there. I'm going to go back to coaching. And I'm going to retire again. It's like, I did what I wanted. It just feels kind of like that. Agreed, Dave. Yeah, that's what it just feels like. Bill Belichick at North Carolina feels much similar to Bill Walsh being at Stanford in his second stint from 1992 to 1994.
I could see that. I could see that. I
It's
mean, you could.
strangely similar.
Mhm. I could see it, Jackson. To be honest with you, I hold Bill Belichick in high regard. I think you know, he's one of the greatest minds in football. Whether you think he could have done it without Brady or not, that's a whole nother topic we can have for another time. But as it pertains to just Belichick, he's one of
Well,
the most brilliant minds in coaching history.
agreed. And you know something? His dad was a coach in the state of North Carolina at one point in the 50s.
Hmm.
That's why it's kind of like, North Carolina makes perfect sense for me.
Hmm.
But,
The thing I worry about though with Bill Belichick though, Jackson, is how are kids going to react to him because he's kind of like Nick Saban. He's businesslike. Like if you make a good play, he's not going to be one of the coaches going to be like, "Yeah, woo, you blocked the punt." Like if someone blocks a punt, he's going to be like, how are kids going to react to that?
oh,
Do you think
it's
they'll be
gonna
able to
take a,
handle it?
it's gonna take a lot of getting used to.
I mean, because that's how Nick Saban was, Jackson. And you know that from all your life. You can speak to that better than me. Nick Saban is a coach. He expects excellence from you. He loves
Yep.
his players, but he expects excellence. He don't like all that hooting and hollering. Like when Alabama beats Arkansas by 3, he gets mad. Like his face turns crimson red. Like he's back in the film room immediately. Like what
Oh
the
yeah.
heck went
It,
wrong?
it was like when Alabama beat Texas. Some of the Bama players were doing that horns down stuff. Saban's like, "Don't do that! Don't do that!" Like you just don't do that. Like, come on. Like, I mean, if you want to plant the flag on the logo or whatever, okay. But I mean that's not really my style. Like, but at the same time, if you don't want to be in that position where somebody's planting a flag on your logo, then don't
Mm-hmm.
get beat in your own backyard. That's simple.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
But
and that's one of them. Go ahead.
yeah. Um right now I've got Alabama winning the opt-out bowl, but I won't tell the final score until we get to part 2. Um I do
Mm-hmm.
suspect there will be a lot of opt-outs for both schools, of course, and there we go. Quarterback room is ass. Our best players going to say, well, I mean, everybody, Alabama and Michigan's best players will set out, of course. That I mean, it's like I always hear like some people going on about, well, you should finish what you start. You should finish what you start. Which I mean, I understand that, but take your own advice. But you're not a
Mm-hmm.
40-year-old man. You're not a 50-year-old man with wife and kids and all that. I get that. You're right. You go through everything for your family,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean that's everybody's problem. That because like everybody else has their own families feed. They got their own problems, stuff like. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
18-year-olds got to eat too. 19, 20-year-olds got to eat as well. And
Mm-hmm.
am I saying it's okay? Am I saying would I transfer, at the end of the regular season or like before the ball game? No. Would I finish out? Yeah. But that's just me.
And the thing, and I want to add this, Jackson. Now with Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, which we'll get more in depth when we get to part 2,
Sure.
like you said. But like if Nick Saban was still there, you bet your butt, Jalen Milroe, Ryan Williams, all them players, they're gonna play. Nick Saban don't care if you got draft stock involved or not. Because look at Will Anderson and Bryce Young. They played against Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl. And they did it because that's what you do. Nick Saban taught them, you don't leave your man behind.
Yeah.
Like he has said multiple times, You play together. You play as family. You
Yeah,
opt out. You leave your family. You leave your brother.
true.
You leave your brother high and dry.
Yeah,
And more more coaches need to adopt that. Be like, this is your family.
true.
You opt out, you're leaving your brother behind. You're leaving
Mhm.
him out to dry.
Yep. And our guy Moose is asking if we heard about the Ohio State representative, Josh Williams, introducing the Ohio Sportsmanship Act to make it a felony if
Yes,
you plant the flag on Ohio State's. Like, what a dumbass lawmaker. Like, I mean,
that's
isn't there
ridiculous.
like
That's stupid.
aren't there like people like doing stupid things in like some of the cities in the state of Ohio? Doesn't like their water situation need to be fixed or something? Like, I mean, I'd worry more about water situation. I would worry more about, the finances of my citizens in my state. I would worry more about all that than I'd be worrying more about some weird guy taking a shit on the street or taking a shit on the phone booth more than I would about some team planting their flag on my field. I mean, would I like it if Auburn or Tennessee was planting their flag on the Alabama logo? No. But if you don't want that, don't get beat in your home stadium. It's that simple.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, Jackson. And here's the problem. I've got no problem with Ohio State fighting back, right? You should stick up for your school. I'm not against that. But for your governing body come out and say, oh, we need to ban this because this. And it's like what Cleo Mowing said. They had 40 minutes to fight and win that game, and they didn't. And they need to learn how to lose. And it's ridiculous, Jackson. And you
Yes.
lost, Ohio State.
Yes. Agreed. 25% of our country doesn't have health insurance, but complain about a flag has to be Jesus. Like, I really hope that Josh Williams guy like gets laughed out of the room. Like, I really do. I hope that dumbass like doesn't get elected to anything ever again. Like, seriously. I really hope he doesn't get elected to anything. I hope he gets laughed out of the room. I hope he gets laughed at on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere. I really hope this freaking imbecile gets laughed at. I hope he gets mocked.
And here's the thing,
And
too,
I'll do one
Jackson.
better. If I can bring him on a Jack Sunny episode to explain himself, I'll see if I can do that. I mean, I may not live in the state of Ohio. I don't know how tall the state representatives work, but I'm learning. But by God, I will bring his little ass on, and I'll be like, hey, could you explain your like what's gonna happen like if you play like but what happens if Ohio State beats Michigan and you plant your flag on their field? Is that okay for you when you do it because you're right even when you're wrong? Or like what's the reasoning, bro? Like that's what I would ask him.
And the thing too is not to get too political, because this is still a football show. But the thing is to this, what's the harm in doing it? Planting a flag in the middle of the O or in the middle of the Crimson Tide logo. They're not hurting
No.
nobody.
No.
And if Ohio State fans and players get butthurt, upset because Michigan plants their flag in the O, then do something about it. Win the game. Put it to rest. Quit crying about it, being like, they're playing the flag. Well, go win the damn game. Pardon my language. You had 40 minutes to beat Michigan, and you did do it.
I don't.
Even with Michigan having no quarterback, you still couldn't beat them. Go ahead, Jackson. Go ahead.
I don't think, honestly, a lot of fans. I'm sure there's Ohio State fans that are pissed off that they're made a mockery of by that state representative. I guarantee you, they're writing them some nasty grams. They are. I mean,
Exactly. Well,
'cause
Jackson, how would you feel? Go ahead. Go ahead, good buddy. Bad manners. Go ahead.
how would I feel?
Like, I just want to say this, Jackson. How would you feel, for example, Jackson, if Tennessee comes in your house and, and they plant the flag? Would you be like, we lost to Tennessee?
No,
They're hurting our feelings.
no. I'd be like,
No.
you saw me lay into the Alabama AD for complaining about non-con schedules, but how we need to make them softer. Like, that's not even why he got left out. That's not
Exactly.
like, I'm an Alabama man,
It's
and I literally host an Alabama show on The Voice College Football, and I'm saying that your non-con is not why you got left out. Now, was ESPN like campaigning on SMU because they realized SMU was a better PR story than Alabama? Yeah, I mean, we can agree to that.
Yeah.
But you did get smacked off the face of the earth 24-3 by Oklahoma. And there's people that tell me, oh, well, Alabama spit in. I mean, like, sure. I mean, you can believe that. But what do I always tell you? Don't ever put yourself in a position where you need somebody to win or lose for you. I always tell you that, right?
Agreed. Yes. That's your famous saying. And here's the thing, too, Jackson. Everyone seems to forget it, but y'all lost to Vanderbilt, too. And that's not exactly a loss. Like, this year it looks okay because Vandy went to a bowl game. But most years, Jackson, people would be laughing at you that you lost to Vanderbilt. You would be Florida, Kentucky. They'd be laughing at you.
They
And that's
should.
the thing, too, Jackson.
You
Here's
learn
the
a
thing, too,
lot from
Jackson.
failure. You learn a lot from failure
Mhm.
than you do from success.
Yes. And here's the thing, Jackson. One of my favorite people in the world, that I love to watch, it has a very famous line. Sometimes it's better for you to not get what you want than to get what you want because it makes you a better person. It
Yeah.
helps you grow because we feel that, in life, and this applies. Like, Alabama feels entitled, right? That
Yeah.
playoff spot was theirs. They did everything they could. Well, did you really, Alabama? Did you do everything you could? Did you win the games you were supposed to?
We
I
let our
mean,
asses get handed to us by Oklahoma. We let Georgia
mhm.
go to our heads against Vanderbilt. I mean, I've had like one or two people in my family say, "Oh, well, Bama fits that game like it was Pete Rose. They lost on purpose to Vanderbilt." It's like, oh my god, oh my god. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm glad they're not saying that
that
on live television because then I'd be like,
you
really?
would be embarrassed to
I'd be like, this
I
is
mean,
not who we are.
no, you'd be lying. They don't speak for me.
If we had some
That would be
dumbass state representative going, "Oh, we're gonna have a sportsmanship act, and we're gonna prevent touchdowns of like we're not gonna fix the potholes in our city. We're not gonna fix housing crisis. We're not gonna fix financial aid for our citizens. We're not gonna help our citizens." But that's not a concern because that's a problem. No, no, no. Because citizens can take care of themselves. We're gonna worry more about players doing a touchdown celebration or an we're gonna ban planting the flag from an opponent because you get a 10-month
yeah.
prison sentence for a felony. You know what we
Yeah.
would do if we saw somebody like I would laugh my butt off at that representative like a freaking horse. I'll laugh like a freaking horse at that guy or girl, whoever it
hmm
is.
hmm Well, Jackson, it's like field storming. They're trying to ban that altogether because they're like it's dangerous,
This
and
Duke had
it's
a
like
big
it's not like not to go too far off on the rant, but it's like field storming. That's another one that the NCAA commissioners trying to outlaw because they're like it's dangerous. We they're hurting coaches and taking down goalposts. You do realize storming the field's been a part of this great sport for how many years now? Why is it a problem all of a sudden? Is it because now your precious sweet baby darlings are losing and you think, oh, it's bad for the product? Well, guess what? You should want a team like Vanderbilt to be able to do that because it shows that they're building as a program, they're growing. That hey, they do have a fighting chance against Alabama. Maybe one day you can put it on prime time on ABC instead of having to put it on SEC Network Extra Plus and make someone pay $19 subscriptions just to watch
Right.
Bama smack Vandy. I'm sorry, Jackson. Go ahead.
It's all right, man. It's all right. And
Like
everybody in chat, I'm
ridiculous.
sorry I'm venting to y'all. I apologize. You did not come to hear a venting session, but
But we just Jackson, we're letting it out, because there wasn't many bowls. We done ran through it pretty quick. But this
yeah,
is good though. I mean, in Trojan fights is all it's going to take is one player at the opposing team to punch a fan, and it'll be banned instantly. Oh yes, oh yes. I'm just waiting on it, or one of the coaches to be like, oh, one of the fans kind of pushed me. And it's be like, really?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
really?
Oh yeah,
Like
of course.
seriously? And actually, I'm trying to say this. S. How do you say that, Jackson? Help me out here. I
Auto
apologize for butchering it.
qualifiers got Bama. Blame the commissioners.
That. Well,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. If Bama just beats Vanderbilt, they're probably in the SEC title game, correct, Jackson?
Oh yeah, we beat Vanderbilt or Oklahoma. We're in the playoffs. Like we're no ifs, ands, or buts. Is Jalen Miller opting out of the ball game? We don't know yet, but we will know in the next several days or so. But if I had to take a guess, yes. And honestly, I'm like, let's start the Ty Simpson era. See, this is like in the opt out era we've had since 2016. This is why I say we prepare our second string, third, and fourth string, and fifth string. You get everybody prepared because they may have to come in. You can't just be like, oh, they don't need me. They don't need me. No, can't do that.
Well, and kind of a spoiler alert, Tyler Shuck, he opted to go to the draft, so he won't be in our bowl game. Kind of spoiler alert for part two, but
Hmm.
and it's one of those things, and it's like one of the things, Jackson. It used to be where you didn't opt out of your bowls, but now everyone opts out. But that we could be all night on
It
that
is.
one.
It is what it is. It's like,
B Bean wants to know: does Milrow really not get along with DeBoer? I mean, Jackson, you got your ear to the ground with that, so take it away.
well, that's a rumor from what we hear, but we'll wait and see. But
And
yeah,
Bama,
we want to dedicate a little something tonight's show to our friend
mm-hmm,
Joey. He and his family are going through a lot of health struggles. And Joey Foster has been a friend to us in the YouTube community. And, he has helped so many people like Mark Rogers, Golden Blue Dude, and Traveling Fools, Uncle Lou, and Mayhem Matthew, helped myself. And, you all know him. It's like, and I'm not asking anybody to donate anything, but it's just, if you want to help support Joey and his wife Yvette and his children and his grandchildren, um, check out this GoFundMe link where he's been going through a lot, and we're going. And if you can't be able to donate anything, that's okay. Share the link to somebody. Either you can share it on
Mhm.
anything: Facebook, /Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, anything that's a social media site. Email it, text it, tell somebody in your family, your friends, tell your old time enemy, tell each and everybody that you know.
Mhm.
Our friend is in
Mhm.
trouble. He's helped a lot of us. Now it's our turn to help him.
And I want to put this out here, Jackson, to emphasize, you know, we go through a lot. Everybody does. No, everyone's always got something wrong. They just may not show it. But, you know, I want to say this, even though, we're in an economy now where you may not be able to afford groceries or get you a new laundry or washer, those kind of appliance things. And, like Jackson said, Joey's been a good friend to us. And even if you can't donate, all you have to do though is send Joey your prayers at night. Like when you talk to the good Lord above, send your prayers. Ask him to help Joey out the best way God knows how. Or whatever it may be you believe in. Like like anything. Or just to reach out to Joey and be like, hey, what what's going on, good buddy? Like talk to him, wish him well. Because Joey's a good friend. Like Jackson said, he's helped us, he's helped everybody. And Joey, just like B Bean said, is an American treasure. He is. And he's the only person I know that's crazy enough to love West Virginia. And for that alone, he's an American treasure. But
Agreed.
Joey, if you're listening, we're thinking about you. We care about you. Get better. Get well soon. We want to see you doing good and healthy, and we want to see you make it to your 200 years old if you can. We want to see West Virginia climb the mountain of college football and win it all. Which that might be a while, but you gotta have hope. But any help will do in this matter. Like Jackson said, if you want to donate, you can. If not, it's all cool. Just send your prayers and thoughts for Joey, and send out your best wishes. And like you said, share it out. If you know someone that can help, share it to them. Share it to the cashier at Publix, Walmart, Kroger. Share it to your cats and dogs. If they've got internet, share it to them.
That's
Man,
okay.
they
There
can
we
send
go.
Joey they can share their animal love to him. Just too far. West Virginia maybe to the Pop Tart Bowl. Well, West Virginia might be able to win the national title if Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State leave. They might have a chance then. And Oregon, if all the big boys leave, and it's just West Virginia there. But but we love you, Joey. We're thinking about you, and we hope you get better.
We're praying for Joey, and we're praying for Vivette, because we want to we're going we're praying for you, man. You can
Hmm.
kick Alzheimer's in the ass.
Yes. And then open up a cold brewski afterward when you're done.
There you
But
go.
Jackson, you know, on a better note though, speaking of Alabama, since that seems to be the hot topic all of a sudden, yeah, it's a better time than any to promote Alabama at the voice of college football. Jackson, do your thing, man. What's going on?
Well, they can check me out on Alabama with the Voice College Football, where I create some magic with Johnny Burt's on Monday afternoons on 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, where we discuss the latest news and notes on the Alabama Crimson Tide. And they can also check me out on the Alabama Call-In Show Thursday nights, where Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports and I take your calls discussing your take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. And it's a wild ride on what's going on, because like the title is appropriately stated. Now what do we do? Well, you can see the latest episode where Johnny was not too happy. I wasn't, but I'm just playing the therapist at the moment. And I may be the therapist again for the 10th edition of the call-in show, but that's okay. It's like, everybody else is going through a lot of stuff. It's like, yeah, I go through things, but what everybody else is going through, they got more important stuff. So it's like,
Yeah,
he's an
yeah.
Indiana
We
fan,
live
but
a very blessed.
he was raised as Bama fan. He's a Bama fan and
Mhm.
North Carolina, Indiana man. Indiana's been his feel bad team since he was little. So like he felt bad
Yes.
for him on basketball and he
The
felt bad for him in football. He didn't get he wasn't around when the 80s were Indiana taking everybody's names in the
popping.
70s and 80s under Bob Knight.
Yeah. So Indiana's his feel bad team. That's like the team that he feels bad for. But he
Mhm.
grew up Bama, and of course he's in the state of North Carolina, which he's
There
mentioned. That's how he became a Tar Heel.
we go. And
But
now and of course you could check me out on Jackson Johnson 979 where I'm now 111 subs away from the magic number 500. I appreciate it very much. I need all the help getting there as much as possible because I've got numerous shows with Austin Pitts analysis and the bowl games with Austin and the final whistle with them. We've got some special editions of that one coming up. And I've got the college
yes.
basketball recap preview show with Will and D as we create some magic every week discussing the latest news and notes in all college basketball. And for more updates on what I'm
Uh-huh.
doing and of course, I've got upcoming episodes of the Jacksonian in the works. You'll see some guests I've had on before,
Mhm.
or you will see some new faces. I promise you, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy every bit of it. That I can promise. And for more updates on who I'm having on the Jacksonian and what magic I've got going on Alabama, the voice of college football, and much more, check me out on Jackson VOCFB on X and on
Mhm.
Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. Austin, what have you got going on Sports Talk with Austin this week?
So a lot of my schedule goes with what we're doing. So want to update you all on our schedule. So like I said, we're going to be doing part 2 of our bowl predictions Monday night, this coming Monday night. And we haven't decided whether we want to pre-record it or do it live. And, we'll leave that up to you all. Since you all are here every week, if you all would like us to go live with it, you can tell us in the comments section or you can tell us now, and me and Jackson will make it happen. Or if you'd rather us do it pre-record and make it into videos and cut it in clips on our channels, we could do that too if you think that's better. But whichever way y'all prefer, we will do it. And like I said, it's that time of year again where you'll be seeing us 3, 4, maybe even 5 times a week, especially next week because we're pulling a triple header next week because we'll have part 2 of bowl picks this coming Monday, and then December 18th, which is a Wednesday night, we'll be doing the college football first round picks and analysis, and that will be a live show. We'll be live for that at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern, and me and Jackson will make our picks on the college football playoffs, and we may even take some calls if you're good. You never know about us. We're
We'll
loose
take them
cannons around
regardless
here.
if you're good or bad. We'll take your calls either way.
I don't know about that, Jackson. Especially some of these some of these hooligans out there. Nah, well, you're right, Jackson. It'll be good for ratings. And then we'll be back Saturday for final whistle once again because we'll go live. We're going to go live after the playoff games, and we'll definitely take calls Saturday night, next Saturday, and we'll open the floor to you, give our thoughts to it, and then it'll be on to the quarterfinals and so forth and so on. But that's what I've got going on my channel, and of course my Twitter. I talk a lot about the Cowboys. Be keeping up to date with what's going on in the Ville, both in basketball and football, and of course the Denver Nuggets. and all that good stuff. But so a lot of good things come out in the works for both me and Jackson. And I've got a couple special guests that, as of right now, are lined up for my show. I won't spoil too much, but hopefully it works. But that'll be coming out soon, hopefully. But that's what I've got going on. So stay locked in, people, because me and Jackson, we're going to be around for a minute. We'll be here till at least the national title game. And then after that, we'll disappear. We'll go on a vacation. How's that sound, Jackson? You want to go to Hawaii? We'll take our women to Hawaii.
Sounds good.
But in all seriousness, though, we thank y'all for being here. We appreciate y'all. We love you. And college football is now at the climax. And we're going to crown a champion very soon. Hopefully it's not Oregon, but I have a feeling it will be. I'd much rather Bama win, but they got left out because, Bama had to Bama. But I just had to, Jackson. But go ahead. But in the meantime, in between time,
we wish you all a good night and sleep well. Stay safe, stay warm. It's cold out. Like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another video whatsoever. And we'll catch you next time. Stay safe, stay warm. It's cold out. Good night, everybody. Roll Tide.
Go Cards.